What's up guys, it's me, Kadar, and in this video I'll be taking a look at the Ironsworn RPG and telling you guys about my playthrough of it. So I've currently been DN deprived of Dungeons & Dragons, so I've been looking for other role-playing games to play, and I came across the Ironsworn role-playing game. The Ironsworn RPG is a role-playing game like no other because it was designed to be played solo. So without further ado, let's jump right into the Tales of the Ironlands. In my Ironsworn playthroughs, I am chronicling the adventures of Keelan Kai, brawler extraordinaire. Keelan is accompanied with his trusty dog George, and Keelan lives in the Ironlands. The Ironlands are a land settled by the Ironlanders, who are remnants of a ravaged and destroyed old world. The old world grew overpopulated, resources were thin, and the people were more than plenty. Crops, forests, and the soil became drained due to the imposing human presence. The remnants of the population tried finding new land, and they found the Ironlands. The old world does not matter to Keelan, nor does it matter to the other Ironlanders. What's left are the journeys we make now. Keelan lives in a coastal village called Dovkin in the havens of the Ironlands. The havens are one of the few safe places left in these treacherous lands, and there is a very unusual resident there. The firstborn, the natives to the Ironlands, are elves, and these elves are very distant from the occupying Ironlanders. But one elf takes up residence in Dovkin. This elf has lived in Dovkin for a while, and he's coming close to his death. Keelan has sworn to return to the elf to the lands from which he came, and possibly for Keelan to come to terms with his past. Many of Keelan's friends have had maddening dreams of tall structures in an unfamiliar land, built by those even before the firstborn. These friends have gone in pursuit of those structures and never came back. Keelan has sworn to find these buildings and to destroy them. Ironsworn has a very unique conflict resolution system. Whenever something pops up that might have a chance of failure, I must choose a move that pertains to the situation. Ironsworn has a list of moves that are basically just outlines of specific actions, such as making camp, treating my wounds, or taking a journey. Whenever I want to make a move, I read its beginning of the instructions to determine what I should do. Usually the move would tell me to make a roll and add one of my character's statistics to the roll. When making a roll, Ironsworn uses 2 10-sided dice and 1 6-sided die. My goal is to get the value of my 6-sided die to be greater than at least one of the 10-sided dice. There are 3 possible outcomes to every move I make. A miss is when my 6-sided die is less than both of my 10-sided dice. This means I've failed the action. A strong hit is when my 6-sided die is greater than both of my 10-sided dice. This means I've succeeded in the move and I may even get a bonus benefit. A weak hit is when my 6-sided die is greater than only one of the 10-sided die, and this means that I've successfully completed the move, but there is a cost. I then compare my result to the move's rules and follow the instructions provided. This system is very different than other RPGs I've played, but it works so well in solo play. And now, my adventure begins. Keelan starts in his town of Dovkin, and he's accompanying the elf to the deep wilds, home of the elves. To make this journey, I must use the Undertake a Journey move, and I need to figure out how difficult the journey is. Now, the deep wilds is a completely different region of the Ironlands than the Haven, and the elves living there are pretty protective of their land. I think this journey is going to be a formidable one, and I mark my journey down on the progress tracks on my character sheet. The progress track is a very interesting way to keep track of things like combat, quests, and certain vows I make. The higher the difficulty of my journey, the less progress I gain with each move I make. So, to reach my first waypoint in the journey, I make the Undertake a Journey move, and I get a miss. The result of that means that I make no progress on my journey and I must pay the price of my move. I decided to start a simple combat encounter to spice things up. 2 commoners come from Dovkin with their weapons drawn. Now, Dovkin, like any other town, has their fair share of people who don't like the firstborn. These 2 commoners are those people. They believe that the elf is a traitor and that he's going to give his kind information to attack Dovkin. Those commoners also believe that I am assisting the elf in his traitorous actions and that I must die alongside the elf. Now, Keelan is itching for a fight, and I must make the enter the frame move. This move determines who gets the initiative in the fight. I get a weak hit on the move, and I choose to prepare myself for battle at the cost of losing initiative. Initiative is like an abstract representation of my character's offensiveness or defensiveness in battle. Since my character does not have the initiative, he's in a defensive stance. The two commoners are each given a progress track on my character sheet, and I gain progress on that progress track if I harm the commoners in any way. Throughout the combat, my dog George and I attempt to fight the commoners, but surprisingly, my amazing hero has a very hard time, and he comes close to breaking both mentally and physically. To make matters even worse, the elf I was guiding got killed. Yeah, the dude I based my entire quest on just got killed. Afterward, I did manage to gain the initiative and kill both of the commoners, but it was a pretty humiliating and devastating fight. At the end of the battle, Keelan stood over the dead elf's body, and he brought out an iron coin. Keelan didn't fulfill his vow to bring the elf to his home, but he made a new one. Keelan swore to spread the ashes of the elf at his home. My character packs his things, performs a funeral for the elf, takes the ashes in his pack. There's a long journey ahead. I chose to end my first session there, and it went pretty well gameplay-wise. There was a lot to manage, such as remembering which moves to use, marking waypoints on my map, and marking the progress of my fight on my character sheet, and many other things. And I could have done better when using moves in the combat scenario I was in. However, the rules were quite simple and effective for a solo game, and I enjoyed my playthrough of the game. These sessions are going to get smoother and smoother as the game goes on, but they'll remain fun for sure. That was my first session of Ironsworn. Please leave a like on this video and subscribe for more content, as well as comment if you want to hear the further adventures of Keelan Kai. If you're interested in checking out a brand new trading card game called the Gladiator Trading Card Game, a link to its shop page will be in the description down below. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video.